This is Bridget with Divine Essentials. Alright guys, we're moving on with the book, and I wanted to let you guys know that right now in my house, we are moving rooms. Like, my dad is putting his bedroom where my Reiki room was, and putting my Reiki stuff down into the room where his room was. Back when we moved in here, that was like my little studio area, and it connects to the full basement, so I'm gonna have an area to do my crafts, and an area to have people come, and an area to do yoga and stuff like that. So he's already in the process. Like, he's gonna see if someone can help him move his bed like this week. So as soon as that's done and it's all set up, I'm gonna do some yoga. But in the moment, it's really like chaos. So I'm like, I'm not gonna start that right now, but I didn't forget about it. And we have a message of radical self-acceptance here for this one. And I feel like I need to share this because I just had like one of those moments with spirit a little bit ago. I posted a video on Be Creatively You, Bridget Rao channel. And that channel, like, has consistently been going down in subscribers for a while. When I got sick, I stopped recording, and it just like plummeted as I was doing nothing. I was doing nothing, and it was just like, I'm like, that's so weird to me. Like, you would think, like, if you are uploading stuff that people don't like, then they would leave. But I wasn't doing anything at all. It was going down, right? Then, just recently, I saw, like, that I wasn't subscribed to a channel that I know I was. So I'm like, they do that too. Like, they just unsubscribe people. Like, I think if you're just inactive for a while, like, you're not watching someone for a while, they just, like, unsubscribe you from it. Because that's happened to me more than once now. And, like, this time, I know for a fact I was subscribed to this person's channel. So I'm like, it doesn't make sense, right? Then I noticed, like, you know, things had been going down since I've been uploading, but I'm not uploading the same as I once did on there. So, at first, like, no matter what, no matter how you feel about it, like, it bothers you. Like, oh, I must have done something somebody didn't like, right? Then I go on to Instagram to, like, share the little thing so people on Instagram know that there's a new YouTube video. And I saw a thing about Billie Eilish, which I had already saw earlier today, that, like, she unintentionally came out. And she's lost 100,000 followers since then, like, within a day. Just for being who she is, like, who she's always been, and she never, like, tried to hide it. She just never really, like, verbalized it. And it was like just the way that it is, right? But seeing that in that moment, and I had just finished recording a video all about, like, being your authentic self, you know? Like, if you want things to go right, you need to be authentic, no matter what. Like, pretending like you're happy when you're not isn't really gonna work. You've got to figure out what the problem is so that you can become happy, so you can authentically be happy and things are good. Sometimes we look for, like, I just want to bleep over that. I just want the quick fix. I just want this magic thing to happen. Or I want something to manifest while I'm portraying a version of myself that doesn't align with that. Like, I know a lot of people in the twin flame community get all, like, you know, all this conflicting information and advice of, like, oh, just let them go. You've got to be cool. You, like, you know, be receptive and receiving and boppa beeps and all these things, right? And, like, don't chase them. Don't, like, act like you're cool without them, right? So that you can manifest them. However, if somebody's looking at you acting as if you don't even, like, think about them, you don't care about them, then they may not approach you because they don't think you care. So, but if authentically deep down in your soul you do care, but you're just like, screw you then, or like, I'm just gonna pretend like I'm fine so that they will come. Like, it doesn't matter what it is that you're doing it for, whether you're mad, whether you're sad, whether you're listening to advice or whatever. If you're not being that authentic version of yourself, that will, you know, manifest things into your world that you don't really want. Like, manifesting followers that I don't become like, if I'm not my authentic self for them and they show up, as soon as that authentic me shows up, they're gonna leave, right? Just like Billie Eilish, 100,000 people left just because of who she is. But she's always been that way. So you aren't real fans of her. If something as little as that can just, bye, I'm not gonna be your follower anymore because of that one thing that's always been I just wasn't aware of it. Now that I'm aware of it, but those aren't the right people. I would rather have one solid person that actually cares, that's not like hating, not judging, not expecting something out of me that I'm not. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I felt like that was important. And I think other people probably need to hear it. Like, those aren't your people, and it doesn't even matter. Like, it's just numbers at the end of the day, really. But we take it personally, like, oh, I'm doing something bad. No, you were just being you, and they don't align with you. So celebrate the removal of the things that are not aligned with the future version of yourself. If the future version of yourself is going good, like if you know you're on a trajectory and you're doing the best you can, and you want the people that show up to be a reflection of that version of you, celebrate the ones that are relieving and leaving, so that can happen. You know what I mean? But I do get it. Like, it's a hit to your ego when we see things like that, or we know, like, I had something happen recently where I was friends with people, like mutual friends with people, and we had all gone out together one time, and my memory popped up, and I was like, oh, I haven't seen a post from her in so long, and I clicked on it, and it was like, add friend, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, so I asked our mutual friend, I'm like, did I do something? Boppity beep. And she came back and was like, no, like, she said that she, like, deactivated and came back, and when she came back, like, a lot of her friends were gone, and that she never, like, and even if she did, it's not a big deal. I just asked, like, did I do something wrong? Also, I didn't want her on the flip side of it thinking I unfriended her, you know what I mean? Because I didn't. So I was like, and we had never had any, like, bad thing come between us. So it was just, like, you know what I mean? But it doesn't matter. Like, sometimes things happen because of weird technical, like, crap like that. But even in the case of the weird technical crap like that, there'd be a reason for it. So don't take it personal. Just know that when we remove something, we're making space for something to come in, okay? It's like, oh, I clear this out, something comes in. Like, I'm excited right now because I'm going to be clearing out a lot of stuff, throwing out a lot of things. Not throwing out, but donating a lot of things. I don't like to waste, okay? I'm always like, no, we're not throwing it out, but we're going to conserve, we're going to, like, consolidate, we're going to donate, we're going to sell, we're going to use the things that have just been, like, spread about my house. It's all going to be collected in an area where I can actually utilize it and see it and, like, play with it and not be like, oh, my dad's asleep, I don't want to go through that room right now when I'm inspired to do something because he's going to be out of the way. Oh, my God. But, yeah, like, we got to make space. We got to clear things out, because as I clear those things out that are stagnant and old, like, I saw a thing the other day that was literally talking about, like, stuff that will kill the energy in your home, or, like, clothes that you're never going to wear. Old cards and things that are just, like, taking up space. Just junk. So much junk. Like, I look at pictures when we first moved in here, and I'm like, how did I fucking fill this every nook and cranny with shit? Like, some of it's because other people came and were like, oh, here, take all this shit. Like, somebody passed away, we got all their stuff. When my brother left, he left all his stuff. When my mother passed away, I got all her stuff. So there's, like, and that's a lot of stagnant energy, and it's a lot of stuff that I didn't want it just manifested, and I get weird about stuff like physical items and things that, like, become, like, emotionally invested into it. I learned recently that plants can perceive us. They know what color we're wearing, like, if they like where they're at. I'm like, oh my God, because my friend gave me plants recently, so I'm like, are you okay here? Do I look alright? That's how I am with things, though. Like, oh, I've had stuff since I was a kid. Like, I'm looking at stuff right now that I've had since I was a kid. We gotta let things go to make space for new things, good things, aligned things to come in. And, if you get kind of, like, nervous about try not to look at stuff in that way. Like, if you're preventing yourself from starting on social media because of things like that, like followers and hate comments, and, try to eliminate that from your mindset before you even begin, but don't let it deter you from beginning, because there's always going to be people that applaud you and people that don't like you, and we want to find the ones that applaud us and remove the ones that don't, right? I'd rather have people leave than sit there and throw hate, So, radical self-acceptance is what we're talking about tonight, so I guess it makes sense for what just came out of my mouth. Renee had a hard time accepting herself. She was filled with judgment and shame about her behaviors. I suggested that it was important to develop a capacity to turn towards herself lovingly. At first, she only felt disgust and anger with statements like, "How could I love myself for yelling at my kids? Why should I deserve love? Look how fat and ugly I've become." Renee was suffering so much that she decided to try something new. She began to integrate self-acceptance and mindfulness practices into her daily routine. She began journaling about her critical thought patterns, and she explored new positive ways of thinking about herself. As Renee softened her judgmental stance, she became aware of how lonely and scared she feels sometimes. She had access to a new sense of kindness and compassion for herself. Dialectal behavioral therapy suggests that acceptance of who you are is a necessary condition for change and growth. Likewise, Buddhist psychologist Dr. Tara Brach encourages you to become your own best friend by employing radical self-acceptance and befriending your body. Let's take a closer look at how to incorporate practices that facilitate self-acceptance. Breath awareness. Accepting reality as it is involves anchoring your mind in the sensations of your body. Observing your breath provides one way to focus your attention into the present moment. Experience of your body. Notice the subtle sensations of your breath coming in and out of your nose, or with the rise and fall of your belly. You can practice breath awareness while sitting, walking, or listening to music. Once you feel comfortable, practice engaging your breath practice while dealing with difficult feelings or engaging in conversation with others. For instance, you can say to yourself something like, "I am breathing in peace and I am breathing out love." In practice, take several deep breaths. The dogs are snoring. What are you aware of now? Use these lines to write about what your senses capture. So there's a little space here for you to just quiet yourself, feel your breath, become aware of your breath, and then write down, what are you aware of as you take those deep breaths? What's coming up to your senses? What are you sensing? Are you getting tingling? Are you feeling anything tense? And then half smile. Engaging in a half smile is a valuable way to change your mental state and cultivate a serene feeling in the moment. This practice involves relaxing your face and then slightly turning up your lips. As you smile, imagine your jaw softening and a relaxed feeling spreading across your face, your entire head, and down your shoulders. Start by practicing the half smile when you feel calm, and eventually engage the practice while reflecting on a difficult event. What did you notice during the half smile practice? In what ways can you imagine this practice being helpful in your life? I'm giggling because I know I look funny, but I'm also having flashes of these last couple of days. Sometimes I watch the behavioral panelist people on YouTube that will look at the face and actions of people to see are they lying, is there truth, bop bop boop. And I've been watching those guys, and there's another guy that does it that's a mentalist. Spidey they call him. There's a panel of 4 of them, and then there's Spidey, and they're both people who read body language and facial expressions and have a lot of tools and things psychology based. They know about narcissism and all of that, and a lot of these concepts come up in it. And there's different ways that we smile, there's different ways that we engage, and there's different ways to notice micro expressions. There's different ways to notice if someone's holding contempt or if someone's genuinely happy, if a smile is real or fake. But regardless, putting that smile on your face is one of those tricks to start to engage in becoming happier. Some people also put it forces you to smile when you bite on a pencil or a pen. So I know that those things can do that. And I was just giggling because it kind of comes up. But those are interesting things. Like, if you're into psychology, if you're into human behavior, if you're into, like, figuring these things out, sometimes, lately I've been wondering, like, am I autistic or something? Or, like, slightly, because I have all of the ADHD symptoms, but I have a lot of other things, too, that are on that line of, like, autism, where, I get, like, hyper aware of things bother me that don't bother other people, and I am, learning, like all the time, like, micro expressions, like, trying to avoid what's happened in the past, where I was and get burned by people because I didn't pick up on their micro expressions of resentment and hate. Some of that could be trauma, but also with autistic things, like, sometimes we have a hard time, reading those types of things on people appropriately, and just even being interested in those things can be a part of it. But some of the other things, like being, like, hyper aware of who we are bothering other people, like, when I'm trying to cross the street and people want to let me go, like, I get upset, and I'm like, I pretend like I don't need to cross the street, so they just go because I don't want them to stop for me. That's one of those, like, things where it's like we get super, like, oh no, don't look at me. Like, I do fine, I'm super speedy at my job every day. Unless a human interferes with me, then I break. Then I can't do anything anymore. It's like I drop the package, the thing won't scan. I'm trying to rush because you're waiting for me, or you're looking at me, or you're trying to take the package, and I get all discombobulated because I get, like, put under pressure. But when you're not there and you're not bothering me, I'm totally fine. Boop beep bop boop boop boop, all quick. And though I've been realizing, like, I've been analyzing and paying more attention to myself and how I interact in the world, and, like, what pisses me off, and, like, when I'm cool, calm, collected, and everything, I'm by myself. There's nobody with me. There's just me and nobody looking at me. We can get hyper weird about people looking at us because we feel pressure, and then that pressure and that can make us, get like, ugh. Like, I've said it before, when I go live, it's way more for me. And then when I'm live, I forget so many things. It's like I can't find the words for all this stuff that I know. But when I record like this, there's a safety net of, like, well, if I really need to, I could delete it or I could edit it. But it was a big step to even just put myself out there to begin with at all. But I think a lot of these things go hand in hand. Self-acceptance, also self-exploration of realizing, like, why do these things bother me? And can I laugh about it? Can I calm myself down? Like, sometimes we get into this rut. Like, I notice with myself, like, one person can set me off, and then it's just like, I'm just, and now it's like, every person afterwards, you're just gonna reel it in. But if I catch it, and I'm like, no, like, whatever, that person's just weird, just whatever. I don't have to let it carry into the other people, but we have to accept ourselves too, and know that, like, sometimes we're gonna have a moment where somebody us. Sometimes we're gonna, need some love. Sometimes we're gonna need to take a few deep breaths. Sometimes we're gonna have to half smile to get, like, a real smile. And giggling and stuff like that could help us. So we'll talk about body acceptance and positive self-statements tomorrow in Monet. Namaste.